You broke me. Or at least you thought you did. You looked me in the eyes as you took everything I held dear, and you thought that would be the end of me. You saw my pain, my tears, my silence, and you mistook it for defeat. You thought I was finished, but you didn't know what I was made of. You didn't know who stands with me. When you shattered me, you didn't just break a person. You unleashed something far greater than you could ever imagine. See, when someone walks with God, destruction doesn't end them. It rebirths them. It's in the breaking that the rebuilding begins. And make no mistake, I am being rebuilt. Every scar you left, every word you used to cut me down, every piece of my heart you tore apart, it all became the foundation of something indestructible. You see, God doesn't leave his people in the ashes. He raises them. He elevates them. He makes sure the very people who laughed at their pain, who cheered for their failure, who thought they'd won, become the audience to their resurrection. Do you understand what that means? It means your role in my story was never to destroy me. It was to shape me. You were just another tool in God's hands, another hammer strike against the iron that would make me stronger. And now here I stand, not just whole, but more resilient, more determined, more alive than I've ever been. I hope you're watching, because God doesn't just rebuild in silence, he rebuilds with purpose. He rebuilds in the open. He ensures that those who doubted, who betrayed, who abandoned, see his work firsthand. And you, my friend, have a front row seat. Do you know what it's like to be forged in fire? To be stripped of everything, only to realize that the fire didn't consume you, it refined you. That's what God does. He takes the broken pieces, the shattered fragments, and he creates something new, something stronger, something unshakable. You thought you were writing my ending, but all you did was hand me a new beginning. You thought my silence was surrender, but it was preparation. God was working in the quiet, rebuilding me in ways you could never see. And now, as you stand there watching me rise, I want you to understand something. This strength you see in me, it isn't just mine, it's his. Every step I take forward is proof of his promise. Every victory I claim is a testament to his grace. You thought breaking me would make you powerful, but true power isn't in destruction, it's in redemption. And my redemption is happening right before your eyes. Do you feel it? That shift in the air? That's the weight of your actions unraveling. That's the realization that no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't erase me. Because I'm not here by chance. I'm here by purpose. You might wonder why I'm saying all this to you. Why I'm standing here unbroken, speaking these words. Let me tell you why. It's not revenge, it's not anger, it's not even hatred, it's clarity. You thought you won, didn't you? When you saw me fall, when you heard the silence where my voice used to echo, you thought I was finished. You saw the pain in my eyes, the weight on my shoulders, and you convinced yourself that I wouldn't get back up. But let me tell you something. That wasn't the end of my story, it was the beginning of a greater one. You didn't just break me, you made me. You see, people like me, we don't stay down. When life tries to crush us, we don't crumble, we transform. Because we're not built on the fragile foundations of this world. We're built on faith. Faith in something bigger, stronger, eternal. Faith in a God who doesn't abandon his own. Do you think he didn't see what you did? The lies, the betrayal, the way you turned your back when I needed you most? Oh, he saw. But he didn't stop you. Do you know why? Because what you meant for harm, he's turning into something greater than either of us could ever imagine. You thought you were writing my final chapter, but you were only setting the stage. Every piece of me that you shattered, God picked up. Every wound you inflicted, he healed. Every tear I cried became part of his masterpiece. And now, he's rebuilding me, right in front of your eyes. It's funny, isn't it? The way life works. The very people who try to destroy you often end up being the witnesses to your rise. That's God's way of showing them that his plans are unstoppable, unshakable, undeniable, and here I am, proof of that truth. When you tore me down, you thought you had power over me. But power doesn't come from taking something away. True power comes from standing up after everything's been taken, after you've been crushed, after you've been left with nothing but your faith. And oh, did I stand. At first I didn't know how. I was on my knees, broken, asking God why he allowed it. But then it hit me. Sometimes God lets us hit rock bottom because that's where he does his best work. That's where he builds the unbreakable. That's where he turns pain into purpose, and now I see it. I see what he was doing all along. You thought you silenced me, but my voice is louder now than ever. You thought you buried me, but you didn't realize I was a seed. Every dark moment, every sleepless night, every ounce of agony, it all became the soil in which God planted my comeback. And now here I stand, not as the person you broke, but as the person God rebuilt. Stronger, wiser, unstoppable. You tried to destroy me, but all you did was refine me. You tried to bury me, but all you did was help me grow. You tried to erase me, but here I am, living proof that no weapon formed against me will prosper. You thought I was finished. You thought the weight of what you did would crush me completely. When you broke me, you stood back and watched as I fell to pieces, certain I'd never recover. But here's what you didn't understand. Breaking me wasn't your victory. It was my rebirth. You see, when God decides to work on someone, he often starts with the breaking. Not because he delights in the pain, but because he knows that what's rebuilt in his hands becomes unshakable. You didn't destroy me. You only stripped away the parts of me that weren't meant to last. You think I didn't feel it? The betrayal? The emptiness? Oh, I felt it. Every ounce of pain, every lie, every blow you delivered, whether it was with words, actions, or silence. It all cut deeper than I ever thought possible. You didn't just break my trust. You broke the person I thought I was. And for a while I thought that was the end. But let me tell you something about endings. They're not what they seem. What feels like an ending to you is often just the beginning of something far greater than you could ever imagine. When you broke me, I didn't just fall apart, I fell into God's hands, and let me tell you, he doesn't waste pain. He takes every shattered piece, every scar, every tear, and he molds it into something stronger, something greater, something unstoppable. You wanted me to stay down. But every time I hit rock bottom, I discovered it wasn't the end. It was the foundation. And on that foundation, God has been building something you can't tear down. Do you see me now? Do you see what I've become? I'm not the same person you broke. I've been rebuilt, not by my own strength, but by the grace and power of a God who never fails. Every scar you left behind, it's now a mark of survival, a testament to what I've overcome. Every tear you caused, it watered the seeds of resilience that are now growing into something extraordinary. Every time you counted me out, it only fueled the fire God placed within me. You thought I was weak, but strength isn't in never falling, it's in rising after every fall. And let me be clear, I didn't just rise, I soared. You thought you'd broken my spirit, but all you did was reveal the unbreakable core within me. You thought you could silence me, but now, my voice is louder, bolder, and filled with purpose. You thought you could define me with your actions, but my story was never yours to write. It's his, and God doesn't write tragedies for his children. He writes triumphs. So here I stand, not bitter, not defeated, but better. Better than I ever was, stronger than I ever thought I could be. And now I see clearly. You didn't win. You didn't break me. You built me, because in God's hands even the greatest pain becomes the greatest power. Even the darkest moments give birth to the brightest light.